Hello, YouTube family. Hope everybody's doing good so far. Welcome to another day of Mentor Me Mondays. As you know, guys, we have experts from different parts of the world, different fields, different areas that jump on board and just share their expertise with us so we can apply it to our lives and be better people. And by being better people, look, we hope it flows over to the young people in our lives and help them be better people. So you guys know that we cover areas like finance, psychology, and some kind of spirituality, okay? That's our area of focus. So once again, if you're out there and you're a mentor, you've got some kind of gift, some kind of skill, you want to share with the young people, you're most welcome. Come on board. Cool stuff. Today, before I introduce my guest, today with me on the panel is...
It's Wendy.
Yeah, we've got Wendy.
And we have Rejoice with us today, but she's behind the scenes because she's not feeling that well. So, for Rejoice.
Yeah, so please, yep. You can put it in the comments there. What do you think is wrong with Rejoice? What is wrong with Rejoice? Alrighty. Okay. Our guest and my friend today, who's going to come and just talk about who he is, where he comes from, what he does, and how is that relevant to you, is a man I work with. I know him for a few years now. His name is Jamie, and Jamie is a father. Jamie is a husband. For today's purposes, Jamie is our expert as far as I'm concerned in the area of psychology. Yes, we've gone down that part. Psychology it is. So welcome, Jamie.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Good stuff, Jamie. Good stuff. How long do we know each other now, Jamie?
It feels like 3 years.
Yeah, I think so. Roundabout. Yeah, thereabout. Yeah, good 3 years, eh?
Yeah.
And we kind of clicked first.
Well, look, it's rare that it's not rare that I get along with people, but it's like that I would have a connection with someone like kind of we have, like we'd had, similar, I don't know, say upbringings and things we'd been involved in and, doing this kind of stuff, working with the community. But, and yeah, it's either, the only people who come and really visit me in my office for a chat is you and maybe Brian. So out of a school of 100, so there's
yeah, there you go.
But I'd rather a small group of friends than, a small tighter group of friends is what I'm all about, so
100%.
Yeah.
There you go. So who's gonna pop the first question?
So, Jamie, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? So we know that you work with Johnny in the schools, but how did you get to that point? Like, what's your journey been like?
Look, it's a very, it's so much varied. It's kind of like it took a very different direction at one point. So, like when I was saying before, like when I was in high school myself, I left school at like 15 in year 10. Had like 70 days off because I just didn't want anything to do with it. I absolutely hated school for a whole bunch of reasons. I ended up going into an apprenticeship at the age of 16 that I also hated, but it took the first thing that came up. But I did finish it though. Even though I hated it and the boss was a real piece of work, I don't know how I did that.
Yeah. What was the apprenticeship, sorry?
It was in small engine mechanics.
Okay.
So like ride-on lawnmowers, chainsaws, and it was literally like I just need something.
Wow.
Anyway, I finished it anyway. Just really, not so much that I hated the job, but it was just that the boss was a bit of an old-fashioned piece of work.
Yeah.
Who I wouldn't let talk to me like that anymore. So I have like anyway, no, I won't get into that. I was going to say I still have like PTS dreams of that place because of him. Anyway, so I still work. I used to work in a factory as well after that because there was one stage where I was finishing an apprenticeship and working in a factory at night time and stuff like that. And then, what did I do? I ended up like around the age of the early 20s. I ended up starting my own business as a tradesman. On the Mornington Peninsula in glazing, like glass, splashbacks and mirrors and all that kind of stuff, frameless showers. Because I wanted something which is like, I don't want everyone to do it. Yeah. I don't want to be a plumber because there's like, every second person's a plumber. Not many people are glaziers, and if you can do it well, you get good money. And that's what I did. I'm like, I want to get good at it, I want to enjoy it. And so that's what I did. And someone offered me a job one day and I'm like, I'll learn how to do it. And then, it ended up doing my own thing. So I told you I can talk. So sorry, I'm getting there. All right. So there'll never be like just no, there'll just no noise. It'll just, I'll be able to feel it.
That's good.
Yeah. And then So what did I do? So I ran my business up until the age of about 26, around early 20s to 26.
Was that the glazing business?
Yeah, I ran that on the peninsula. It was actually going well and growing well because, as I said, there wasn't like a whole heap, and I had good connections with certain companies that like might sell glass or showers, and then they would hand my card out and to the people and say, oh yeah, get this guy to fit it. So it was going well, and because I had no employees, it was just me. And then when I was I'm gonna have to get into this early, I guess, if you don't mind. So I had a bit of a thing happen where I lost most of my vision when I was 26, just a kind of random thing. So I'm visually impaired now and only have 10% vision. Oh, wow. So it took that was 26. What happened? There was like a whole bunch of stuff that happened in there, but it was probably 2 or 3 years after before I actually got a job in anything different, because I was trying to find work in construction, and then it took me probably 18 months to realise why people don't really want to hire a legally blind guy on a construction site. But that was all what my skills were. I actually started studying. Literally started studying because I never did in high school. I went to Franks and TAFE to learn a community development diploma.
Yep.
And because I'm like, I want to work with people maybe that might have had similar experiences to me, because I was pretty passionate about that, because it was such a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that there was no one there to help me, but it's tough for people to help if they've not been through that.
They don't understand it,
that specific thing, like if people have had health issues or whatever, or you've got a family member has issues, you can support your friend that has it. But what I had going on, I couldn't drive anymore. I had to give up my business. Money was, so I had to kind of figure a lot of this stuff out. And what I also realised is how many barriers there were, even for me to try and get into TAFE to learn something. They're like, oh, how are you going to do it? Like, you're not going to be able to sell. I'm like, I thought someone would be able to help. I'm like, I nearly swore then. Yeah. I would just effing do it myself. So I bought, originally back in the day prior to iPads and iPhones where you can take photos and zoom in, I bought this it cost me like $1,000, this digital magnifier that you would scan over like a newspaper. And I'm like, I'll do all my reading that way. I would not have been able to do that, but in my head I was going to do that. So and then that led me to youth work. With the Frankston Council, and then youth work. After about a month or so of doing youth work, because I've got this drive for, I guess, everything that I do. I'm like, I don't just want to just do this job. I want to do it to its fullest, and so I feel more fulfilled, And plus, similar to you, we know we have a certain set of skills that aren't just learnt from textbooks, and you want to be able to use that in what you do too, or in your work. A year or so after doing youth work, I'm like, I want to study psych.
Okay.
Wow, there you go.
So I can talk more about that. Otherwise, you won't ask any more questions because it'll be an hour, and I haven't even got to any of them yet. But I can talk more about the vision stuff and the psych stuff later as well. But there's been a bit of a journey. So
that's good.
Technically started studying psych when I was 30. I'm 41 now. And I just technically finished recently. So I'm just finishing the last 6 months of my internship. I'm a provisional psychologist now, and hopefully by February next year I'll be fully registered.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's still one of those things where I pinch myself, because I'm like, I would never have imagined doing anything like that. Not only not that I not that I wouldn't imagine myself go to uni. Okay, that's one thing, but doing it for 12 years, it's I'm like, how did I commit to that?
That's so much resilience.
I know I'm crazy in a way that probably I know not as many people come in the office and say hello, unless you're a little bit crazy yourself, maybe. But I like that I was able to do that without questioning it. I'm like, it's going to take me that long, but what else do I do? I can't get jobs as easily as other people because I don't have a car and whatnot. So I was like, no, this is going to be it, and I'm going to find a way.
Made a beeline for it. So Jamie, the thing for me is, so you if we dial it back a few years, so you were a tradie, you got your business, you're running. Your business, you're operating there in that space, you're doing well, and then something's happened, and your vision is impaired. So legally, you blind.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is like, you seem to get like inspiration from that point.
Yeah.
That makes you like desire to study more, you desire to
Yeah.
do all of these things, and basically go into like no man's land. Like there's nobody who you know prior to you going through what you were going through who had been down that path. Like what was the psychological or like the mental, like what was that voice inside of you that got you that inspiration? Like what was it that switched you into? What was that?
Well, I guess I can conceptualize this prior to that a little bit as well, because I guess because of like, I can get into a bit more later if need be, but experiences in my childhood, like family violence and emotional, physical neglect and all that kind of stuff from people, and me having to be a protector and learn how to be strong and all this kind of stuff. I even prior to losing my vision, I had this thing about me. Yeah. Some people that go through those kind of experiences, it can break them down.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily because they're weak, but it's like sometimes trauma is so strong it will break people. So maybe mine was tough, and it helped me strong, but it didn't break me down.
Yeah.
It was that's how I think when I literally to answer your question like more specifically, it was about a month or two after when I was seeing specialists for why I'm actually losing my vision. Why can I not see my face in the mirror anymore? The same way. Why is it disappearing on a weekly basis? Why is it getting? I had no idea, and I was just at the time I'm like, I'll be fine, because I was just like, I don't know, maybe it's just a typical male way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I remember going to seeing a specialist, and he didn't give me an answer about exactly what it was, but he did say, I suspect in about a month or two you'll have no vision at all.
Yeah.
And then I remember going home from that appointment, and I was sitting on my deck out the front of the house, and when I say I had tears, because it was like obviously it was just what the hell is happening? But it wasn't. I've literally never in my life, and never would, it wasn't a complaining, why is this happening?
Okay.
And not for 1 second what did I ever go through that.
Yeah.
But what I actually felt in that moment was, I'm going to be happy anyway.
There you go.
And and no one had, parents didn't teach me that. It was just experiences, I guess, or maybe I witnessed other people getting that weren't in my family that inspired me or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe I was just supposed to be here with that drive, so I can experience it, and then and so if you can share it, and it's like. It's good to have like yourself. It's like if you want to be inspiring, you generally need to have an inspiring story.
100%.
It's not something you can learn from anything other than life experience. And it's just like, well, that just makes sense. It's like these kind of extreme things that happen. It kind of makes sense. Like it'd be weird to go through these things and then I get a job where I never speak to people, because it's like there's things you could help people. Well, I hate the word help. I like support people so they can help themselves. You know what I mean? I don't hate the word help. I hate using it in that context. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like a hand up.
Yeah.
Give folks a hand up.
So that was the I guess the inspiration, and the energy, and the to be honest, there was, I guess, even the emotion of anger, but not anger at the situation. It was like when I get angry, there's always a solution that will come up. So I'm like, I'm going to find a way.
Yes.
I'm not going to let this stop me. And I'm like, how lucky am I that I had that? So whether it's genetics, DNA, experience, childhood experience, whatever it is, or a factor of factoring in all those things, like the amount of people that would have said like, oh geez, I don't know what I would have done in that position, and I can understand if you had the predisposition to say think about letting everything go or potentially harming yourself or something like that. Like situations like that would lead to it.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not in me to think like that, fortunately. So I am a very I'm fortunate isn't strong enough, but I guess it's a gift that I have to be able to, I guess, go through things. I don't mean a gift to others, but I mean to not give up ever. It's like it's just not in my thing. I just don't have that coping mechanism. So
that resilience.
But I guess also I grew up in an environment where I was fighting for safety.
There you go. Yeah.
And so it became everything was like, not everything was a fight, but it's like you almost expect everything to be a fight and you're all right with it. And so this was just another thing.
No, like, yeah, just another challenge, yeah.
And but also very quickly I'm like, no, there's going to be something in this. I started to relax and calm down about 2 or 3 months after my vision started to get bad, or go. And I think it was because something like innately knew there was something that was happening that was good for me. And like,
wow, yep.
Because like, you know, I had all this like spare time because I couldn't do anything anymore, and I was just walking every day because that's the only thing I could do to keep myself sane. Or I was depressed and there was some very dark days, but not like for months on end. But like I would struggle to sleep at night, and so I'd sleep during the day. I'd go to the gym at 4 a.m. A lot of the time. But I was just always doing something, and that just gave me time to think. And because I had time to think, I was going through all this stuff that used to make me really angry, or like it made me violent at times, or maybe look for violence at times when I was younger. And I was able to kind of figure that out, and like pretty quickly, say the first 6 months particularly. A thing that kind of came to me is like, the more vision that I'm losing, the better I'm starting to see things.
Oh wow!
Like how could I ever for 1 second go like, this is like, complain about it in any way? I'm like, sure, like I can't drive a car. I was single at the time. I can't drive girls on dates or whatever. Wow. I wasn't getting too many dates anyway. But it's like, and then like, no, fortunately, like these things work themselves out. But these are the things that were tough. Not so much, I can't see anymore. It was like money and all that kind of stuff. But those kind of issues and worries, they were happening for me, vision or not. It wasn't like this. If anything, I was. I won't say I saw the positive or it was positive. It definitely wasn't, because for the last, I don't know. So I've had it for 15 years. Like basically the last 14 years, I've had to fight for nearly everything I've wanted, whether it's getting into uni courses or getting accessibility options so I can study. But. I don't know. It was just I never questioned it.
Yeah.
That is so good, so unique too. Yeah, so unique because like typically when challenges like that happen to people, folks often take the other part of like just getting sad and depressed and knocking themselves down. But here you are. Not only did you find like the drive to push forward, but you had to like create. A pathway for yourself because there was none before. Yeah,
totally. And look, I definitely have. Like I'm kind. I can be loving and whatnot. But I definitely had access to other emotions and traits when I was younger, where I was. This might sound a bit weird, but I was contently angry because anger kept me protected. So I would look for reason to get angry. I'm like, that guy did that to me and I'm going to go do something. Or I told you the other day, that guy owes you money, let's go, we'll go. I would look for things. And I also, I was kickboxing as well prior to losing my vision for 3 or 4 years, where I was fighting around Melbourne. So that was another way I could kind of get that out. But I was like I had go in me. Like I was, if something was there, I was like, no, you're not gonna hold me back. But as I said, I kind of grew up in that, so you kind of just you learn that.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And just, I guess one thing around, to conceptualize, the high, or bigger meaning of the thing that I'd gone through, that I switched onto pretty quickly, where I'm like, how you say if you go through a tough experience, whether it's a health issue, relationship breakdown, job issue, whatever it is. So you'll generally go through this thing, and then whether it's in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, or whenever you go, I can see why now that experience helped me now. And so I knew this. Yeah. So I was literally thankful for it happening to me when it was happening. Because I'm like, why, if I know this thing's going to be good for me, why would I wait for a couple of years to know how I'm using this experience? Why would I be thankful then when it can help me now go, this is the thing, and it's for a reason. Yeah. I'm not causing it, I'm not going out hurting people, harming myself. I wasn't going, had any substance or gambling issues where I'm like, you're on a path to always bad things.
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing, I was healthy. I was staying fit. Working hard.
Do all the right things. Yeah.
So I'm like, I had no reason to think it was anything other than something. Or it's whether it was. I won't necessarily say I'm like a religious person. I'm definitely spiritual, like connected to the universe and energies and that kind of stuff. I'm like, there's just something in it. And so, but yeah, I guess to kind of summarise what I'm saying is that whatever it is people have going on, I'm not saying it have to be like, thanks so much for this, but it's like, realise that one day you will be thankful for whatever tough experience is happening. Yeah. So if that takes a month off you feeling horrendous or bad, if that takes a few days, if that takes a long time, or even if you can recognise when something bad starts, or maybe not bad, it's really that I would say bad things happen. It's more when tough things happen, Don't get me wrong, bad things can happen to us, but it's like, if you I won't say have a bad day, I'll just say, that was tough or whatever, because it's like, I probably sound like this super positive guy that's just faking it, but it's like I've just got this. It's just the way it is. I'm very careful about that kind of stuff because there was also a part of me that how I present now was not like this at all. I hated myself until the age of about 35, and I'm 41 now. Yeah. I hated myself, and so that's how that probably fueled a lot of the anger and all that. And I don't know, there was just a lot of learning has always happened. And unless I learned from these experiences and went through them, I could just be, I guess, a product of the environment that I grew up in. Yeah. And if I stayed on that path, I would not be sitting here today. I'd probably end up how I was when I was like 15, 16, where after I finished school, I was too scared to leave the house. I was too anxious. Even when my friends would come over, knock on the door, I'm like, I don't want to go out. I'm too nervous. I'm like, I didn't know what was happening. So likely that's the kind of person I would have been if these experiences didn't happen. Plus, I guess, it's a good mindset. As in, I'm fortunate to have a good mindset, so I'm going to use it, and we can share it. I guess, share me. No, I don't mean that. I just mean like share little things. So it's like if it's I don't know, changes people's perspective on things. Like
it's good.
That's just priceless. So yeah.
So, Jamie, what's like a typical day in the life of Jamie?
Okay.
What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a good question actually.
It's a tricky one, eh?
Oh yeah, I guess I don't really think about that. You just kind of go about your days,
Yeah.
I've worked at the school where Johnny and I work. I've worked there. This is my 11th year.
Oh wow.
But typical days generally getting up early. When I was studying, I was getting up at 4 a.m. I don't get up at 4 a.m. now, but generally I'd like to get up early. I'd maybe do some exercise or walking before I go to work. If I can, go to work by about 8, spend time there as a psychologist this year. And then you go home, you might do something with my daughter at the park, and I listen to podcasts, read books. Watching TV doesn't really work, obviously, anymore. If I can't see, it's kind of pointless. TV's crap anyway. So yeah, that's...
Except for YouTube.
Oh, well, yeah, but at least you can learn the stuff that you want, There's a lot of garbage on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of a typical day. It's like there's always something. I'm always generally moving, and I've relaxed recently. I've had to relax when I was particularly when I was studying, because I think I just needed this drive, because there was not that there was always something that was going to pop up, but to continue that amount of study, plus have like the psych study is like really hard, plus there's some really difficult things that I had to navigate regarding using computers for certain parts of it, and it wasn't legally blind man friendly in any way, so I had to navigate ways for that, and so it was kind of always on edge. So I would always be walking around. I would never sit on the couch even. The only time I kind of was resting was when I was going to bed, or random day naps. I rarely just sit on the... I love them, but I rarely just like... I don't know, if I'm chilling and relaxing, it's like, it might be like 8 o'clock at night or something like that. It kind of gets to that. But it's a good day I kind of have. Like, I've worked hard to get to this stage, ideally when I finish my internship year, next year after February or something like that, I'll start venturing out into doing psychology work, private practice. slowly.
Yeah.
And so whether that means like I hire a practice, whether it means I do it from my house, which I don't think my wife will like, or if people want me to go to their hair, I don't really mind. I could do it anywhere. I can be a free agent again. And you know what? You kind of ironically on that deck that day when I was crying because the things were going tough, I said, "Look, I'm going to do something where I get my freedom back again." Because I had my freedom working my own business.
Yep.
And I didn't know what it was going to be. And then that's kind of when I figured out, this can be the thing that gets me to that feeling again.
Okay.
You know, being able to drive a ute and put my surfboard in the back and all that kind of stuff.
That's living the life.
I won't be able to do that, but at least I'll have freedom, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what a day looks like now. And then, you know, I'm venturing into like to be able to work like fully on my own one day, which hopefully will happen, you know, over the next 2 or 3 years. I won't work in schools forever. I can work in schools if they wanted me to come in for specific things, but like I won't be like an employee forever. It's been great. The school, can I name the school or not? Maybe not.
Oh yeah, you can name it.
Monterey in Frankston North has been great. So yeah.
Not a bad school.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot. It's a good place to see the transition is just like a completely different school. You know, if someone was there 10 years ago and came to it now, they'd be like, "What the hell has happened?"
Yeah.
With the staff feel better, students are better. Students actually stay in the classrooms now.
That's beautiful.
Because then you and I stand in the corridor and intimidate them to get back in. No, our school does trauma-informed practices very well. We even had a book wrote about our school and the way we do it. So
that's true.
So I told you I can talk. That was a long way of saying that's what a typical day does. Should I spend more like 30 seconds answering specifically?
No,
okay.
No, you did good.
It's
okay,
fine.
good.
So
that's good.
The other question becomes then. So with psychology, right? Like I'm an African male.
Do you want me to give you the tagline for psychology? How to summarize it? Psychology is the scientific study of human behaviour and the cognitive processes that underlie it. That's what psychology is.
Okay.
All right. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You can do research.
Yep.
Or you can work with people like one-on-one, like I do, or groups or whatever.
Yep.
You know? But that's good. That's what psychology does. Some as you said, like there's a lot of people that may not be familiar with it for a whole bunch of reasons.
That's true.
Like I'm not sure what it's like in South Africa, what mental health awareness is like, or whether compared to here. I said I need to know more about. I learn more about what.
Where I'm from, it's like where I'm from. I think I've told you a brief rundown of where I'm from.
Yeah.
But typically the ghettos, the slums, non-white males from my neighborhood, or just taught to suck it up. You know, just press through, power through, just live your life. And psychology is genuinely something that's like in the back seat somewhere. You know, no one thinks about it and all that sort of stuff. So, like, what would you say to a guy that's in that space, who you can see this guy is in the jam? He needs some kind of support.
I am stoked you have asked me that question, because I don't just have my own answer for it, like individually.
Yep.
I guess I could give a response that is even backed up by science.
Yep.
That actually will say if someone doesn't do something, it will literally make them weaker where they think they're making themselves stronger.
Oh wow!
So I can. It's taken me 12 years. I can finally conceptualize and talk about it. Like I kind of knew something was happening when I was working through it, because I've literally had hundreds of therapy sessions over the past 13 years.
Yeah.
That's probably somewhat more relaxed because of that. So why I advocate for psychology as well. But say for whether it's, I can understand why like teenagers or young people don't want to do it.
Yep.
You know, I can understand that. But I would advocate for everybody, say, if they're having trouble in anything, relationships, work, like it doesn't matter what, if you're having trouble with your mood, energy levels, whatever it is, if you kind of just know that you're not as happy as what you could be, or you want to be happier than what you are, kind of thing, speak to someone. Like, that's what we're here for. But for say a man in his 20s, you know, that might be an angry man, maybe like me, used to love getting into trouble, like, you know, and nearly very closely ventured down paths where I absolutely ended up in trouble, or, you know, locked up or that kind of thing. So if I can kind of talk about, say, like emotions for a minute, right? So if this person is angry a lot of the time, So if like whatever emotion we like fuel ourselves with or allow ourselves to feel, like men like feeling angry because it makes us feel powerful.
Yep.
You know, and that goes back to things from thousands of years ago, like when we had to hunt and protect. Like that was a useful thing. But like if you're angry about it's just like a relationship breakdown, money stress. Like if you're angry about everything because it makes you feel, when people can feel nervous and anxious, anger is anger is the thing that can make you feel more in control. But what it is so limiting though, it's so limiting because what anger actually does, like it has an excellent, perfect, like perfection purpose. That the way that how we have it as humans is perfect, but the way we use it sometimes is a bit, we use it for everything sometimes. So I'll give you an example, right? So anger is great from a way of like manifesting how we're feeling internally. For whatever it is, whether it's like childhood stuff, whether it's like, I don't know, someone did something to you, literally whatever it is, it's a great way of helping get that out. And so I actually spoke about this on my own kind of podcast. So my best example of how anger works and how it's like, it might be able to help see where it becomes useless after, like if you just keep using it in the same way. Imagine if you had a leaky sink, all right? Yep. And you got a bucket and you stuck it under the sink. So that bucket is basically your so when it fills up, when you fill the bucket and then it keeps dripping and then you throw the bucket out. When you throw the bucket out and like tip it out and then you put it back under there, that action of throwing the bucket out is anger. Wow. Okay, but here's the thing. So you using that as a release doesn't fix the leaking sink.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah. So anger has that great purpose of doing what it needs to there. And so going back to what you're saying about younger guys, right? It literally would put them on edge. Their nervous system would be fight or flight a lot of the time, which means cognitively, like you're literally not as smart because all you're thinking about is fight or flight. So thinking like good rational solutions to literally anything, they're limited because when you're angry, your fight or flight is probably kicked on, and the safety part of your brain, the amygdala, switches on and uses the back part of your brain, not the front part, where rational thinking, problem solving comes in. So when men, particularly young boys or teens or whatever, are using this as their prominent way of dealing with things, they're dealing with it from a part of their brain which literally isn't as smart as what they could be. Yeah. And so it's like I totally understand like why people do it, but like I feel silly now when I get like angry. It actually doesn't even happen anymore. I'll get angry, but I don't stay there anymore. Yeah. Or I don't like I think that I used to, because I liked the feeling of protection, I would almost deliberately let my ego come out.
Okay.
Because I liked when that came out, because then I would get angry.
Felt empowering, yeah.
Yeah, but there was also to go along with this kind of thing. Well, I can totally understand why people do it. 20 people in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. I can understand how this is the thing that they would have done it. Like they may not have had it explained. Like they haven't studied psych for 12 years. Haven't had haven't lost their vision so they can see better. Whatever it is, it's so normal for people to do. But it's also like if you're hanging around, groups of like guys who like fighting, you have to be someone who can switch on your anger.
Yes, true.
And so there's that as well. Or if you might live in a house with domestic violence, or whatever. So I'm not saying don't use your anger, but if if the only thing you use is going to get you in trouble, you're eventually going to get you in trouble. Your thinking won't be as clear. So just if you have, say, for example, a money issue where it turned to worry, stress, and then chances are for a lot of men, because they don't like feeling vulnerable, they'd rather feel angry. And then when you feel angry because of that issue, you will literally have a lower quality solution to it.
Yeah.
So it's like it really holds people back, but it makes so much sense why we used to do that and why I used to do it.
That's amazing.
So but it's like it's being our emotions and how they I guess. There's like unseen energies, like I think it's in like a quantum theory and that kind of stuff, where how we feel, what we think about is like there's things going. That's not an airy fairy thing. There's something happening, And even say how emotions affect the individual's body.
Yeah.
So like certain emotions that are the lower ones that we need to feel sometimes. Something bad happens, we do need to feel sad. We do need to feel angry sometimes. Grief, all that kind of stuff. It will make you feel lower. Your mood won't be as good. Your strength, like to say lift things or do weights or whatever, won't be as say technically strong. You maybe don't feel like it. All right. So this is the thing, because the way they've a lot of the research I've looked at is kind of there's like this line where emotions are like energy taking.
Yeah.
Even though some of them are useful, because you need them to to get through and work through things. But there's also a line where, and I think the first kind of emotional feeling where the line goes from say like negative, not bad, but negative as taking, to positive as in like energy giving. It's courage.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's courage, and then it goes into things like acceptance, willingness, and things like that. So even with anger. Even though you need it for fighting, if you're going to go out fighting, but the best fighter, or when I mean fighter, I mean like someone who can deal with their issues, is someone who is calm.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yep.
But when you're calm, your nervous system can calm. You don't need to use that fight or flight fear center part of your brain, and look, there's literally parts of your brain where clearer, more intelligent thinking is happening, and one where like is like almost childish because it's like just safety.
Yeah.
So there's just a whole bunch of things that like it makes so much sense, and I guess I'm glad that I feel I can hopefully conceptualize it to talk about it, because it's like I needed this. I needed to.
That is so good. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have listened to me back when I was younger, but I needed this to figure it out, because I'm pretty stubborn with certain things, because I guess maybe I needed to be. So I'm also someone that I needed to learn for myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like if I'd read this somewhere, I wouldn't have fully understood it. I'm an experiential learner. So yeah, for to answer your question about that anger stuff, or getting into things, getting into trouble, getting into fights, getting into gang stuff or whatever, which still happens almost more and more these days. Although I think the fights might be different now. There might be more, I guess, groups onto one sometimes.
Yes,
that kind of stuff.
One. Yeah.
But it's you're actually lessening the quality of your life and how you feel. I understand it's a cool thing sometimes to get involved in that stuff when you're younger. But if you're continuing to do this stuff as an adult, if you're a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, and whatever your prominent feeling is, whatever your prominent emotion is, if you can recognize it, that is quite literally the energy that you're putting out. And because even science shows us as well that like energies attract like energies, that is the energy you will get back. And there's the energy you're putting out helps can attract the experiences you have, the people that you meet, the people that are attracted to you, and all that kind of stuff. So. But look, I can understand, like, as a teenager, not going to get this, but for people that are males and adults, there's absolutely ways to deal with it. Speaking to people, you don't have to speak to a psychologist, but speak to someone. Chances are the average person definitely isn't going to know this stuff naturally, or even be able to fully understand it without, say, speaking to me about it in a session, maybe a few times where you've got to reiterate certain things.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, if that's how you're feeling, if that's how you're dealing with stuff, that's what you're going to continually get. And my best thing that I kind of came to my own head when I figured out I was angry all the time, I'm like, I like getting angry, but my life just attracted more reasons to get angry.
Yeah, I never,
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
It's if people can make sense from that, or maybe one day they will, But there's always a way to change that kind of stuff. Always a way to change it.
Hey everyone, so if you've enjoyed our channel, you can support us by liking, subscribing, purchasing some merch. You can find it all down in the links below. We really look forward to hearing from you guys, and see you next week. How many alarms do you use in the morning to wake up?
Well, that is very much mood dependent, and whether I've been eating well, meditating enough and all that, because when I'm not taking care of myself, I'm snoozing that thing a lot.
Yeah, okay.
But when I'm switched on, like a maximum of 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
When I'm
two's the
switched
magic
on,
number,
yeah.
yeah.
When I'm not, I reckon that there's been a time where I've probably snoozed that thing for an hour or so, and I'm still asleep and snoozing.
You want to talk from the back of the
Yeah,
head?
come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She feels very encouraged by that.
100%.
Yeah. So, but yeah, even when I decided to start getting up early, because I needed to have more time to study and all this kind of stuff. So there was reasons why I was doing it. I wasn't just getting up and sitting there and the world is great. It's quiet. It's not. No, I was having to put more time into study rather than coming home after work and studying. But when I started doing that, like my alarm that would go off at like 4 or 4:30, like it would wake my wife up, and she'd get annoyed about it. So she started sleeping with earplugs
Oh, wow.
and an IMA, and now she loves it. And so she'll never sleep any differently now. So I've inspired her to do that by me getting up early.
That's a
So,
good
yeah.
idea right there, yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't snooze that much and have someone next to me though. I think
Yeah.
that'd be tough, unless they were doing it. But then if they were doing it, I'd probably throw their phone away if it was making me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I go through highly motivated stages, highly focused, but then I can lose that sometimes for a whole bunch of reasons. And so when I say I was getting up early, I didn't do that every day of the year. There was probably there were at least one year where I probably did it 9 or 10 months of the year, but there was a whole lot of days where, like, I can sometimes sleep all day. Like, not that I feel like I could sleep all day,
Yeah.
because I just love that dozing and just thinking about stuff or switching off.